You know what, guys? Every time I say I'm done with this topic, unless something new comes out, something new does come out. So, some ordinary gamers have released the Discord call between them and Jirard. Oh my gosh. So, we have to listen to it, of course. I'm just too curious. So, let's get it going. It's 48 minutes long. I will probably watch the whole thing, but we'll see.
Like that's just a fucked up situation to be in.
Oh, and it's only part one.
And
My God.
I don't know, Carl, I don't know what else we can really ask. I think every question.
Yeah, well, I just want to know, like, you said that you don't take care of the books, but you were aware of what were on them. Is that correct?
As far as what, like expenses go?
Expenses and the fact that the cash was sitting there. Have you been aware of that the entire time?
I did not know. I was not aware the entire time that the money was not being donated. I was aware that I was reclaiming my costs and the expenses, but we had to make sure, because it's legally speaking, you have to do it, otherwise it's against the law, that it was under a certain amount and that it wasn't too much for, and purely just to, like, you know, buying hot sauces or, you know, paying for the dumb shit that we do during the show. Like,
yeah.
The expenses were never more than a certain amount, and it was always, it's like it was less than a couple, like 5% at most of the total earnings, just to reimburse my company if the expenditure was big. We didn't even reclaim it every year, because sometimes, and most of the time, all we're really quote unquote paying for is people's free time, and we're not, and everyone's donating it because it's charity. So
yeah,
you know, that's the only expense that I know of. It's the only expense that I've ever really seen. And to be above board about it all, like, I've always been like, hey, if the expense is too much, don't fucking worry about it. Like, I'll take care of, I'll hate the loss, because it's, in my mind, it's just going to charity anyways.
Okay, reimburse your company. That's interesting. I'm not sure what the legal terms are for that. It might be okay. It might be fine. I'm not sure. But I had been wondering where it came from before it being reimbursed. So it's good to know that.
It's all going to a good cause, and I'm not trying to embezzle shit. I'm just trying to do things right.
Well, that's just money you're spending from your own, like, that's just a check you're writing personally. There's nothing, you know, wrong about that.
So did anyone?
And I'm not writing it to the foundation. So
yeah, did anyone tell you?
You were notified that the money was sitting there the whole time?
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like,
do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet, and that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool.
Okay,
and
we've heard
I
this.
got personally involved to move it, and
did anyone?
Wow, they started with this.
Yeah, did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere before then? Were you being misled?
No. No one told me anything. I assumed that it was all going to a charity, and I assumed incorrectly.
Okay, so you still thought it was going to the UCSF?
Whether it's UCSF or a partner that's also on our website, because we don't have any other benefactors currently. Like, that's why I was like, well, they're taking care of it, but nothing was ever brought to my attention. I just knew that conversations were happening between Alzheimer's Association of America, AFTD Foundation, UCSF started a new organization, I think, called like Bluefin or Blue Group, which is like supposed to be their 501c.
I want to know who was in the discussion then. Who was discussing whatever stuff with each charity? That's the thing I'm wondering.
Part of their organization. So I know I have a paper trail of us talking to other organizations as early as 2020 and 2021 in an attempt to pay them what they were owed. And most of the conversations we had from some of the bigger orgs like Alzheimer's, they were like, look, if you're not going to pay more than 6 figures or 6+ figures of what they asked for, then you're just going to waste it. So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org and like make a bigger impact rather than just giving smaller donations that don't move the needle.
Okay. I guess. Except the problem is on that donation page that Carl showed us, they had a section where you can decide where the donation went. All restricted ones, there were like 4 or 5 of them, and then one of them was unrestricted. And So I don't like this. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he really didn't know. But like, it only took a couple seconds to go onto their donation page to see that you can determine where it goes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like, see, now the thing is, this wouldn't really even have been a story at all had whoever was running your website or your social media channels had just made
Who
that an
is that, by
apparent
the way?
fact, you know, to start off with. But the problem is, like, when you read the comments of some of the people that are donating, they think that that money is going right there that year, right? Because that's just what any viewer is going to expect, right? Like, if I ran a charity for, like, you know, the Palestinian, like, Israeli conflict, they would think that if I raised $1 million, like, on demand, or at least shortly after that stream, that money would be immediately connected to, like, an actual charitable organization, and that money wouldn't even touch my accounts; it would just go somewhere else. So that's what I guess people would have reasonably assumed, especially when they read like the articles from Dual.
Honestly, not me, because I do I know a little bit about this, just a little, but enough to know that, like, unless you're donating directly to the charity, yeah, it's likely going to the person first, which is not ideal. Even if somehow it works out and the person actually does donate the money, that's great, but it's like, it's still not an ideal way to donate. It's a risk.
It's like 80,000, 100,000 raised for dementia research. But if it's just sitting in an account, obviously, I think people are going to be very, very, very angry if they just see the filings as they are now. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to say please don't make videos on me, because that's just what's going to happen. I can't stop you guys from doing your thing. What I do want to do is do the.
Wait a minute. Okay, listen. I'm so sorry. I paused a lot. I'll try and stop after this. Why does he know that they're going to post videos on this, and then, like, he still talks so much? I don't even know why he talked to them in the first place. I think that was a bad idea. I really do. Guys, I'll stop pausing as much.
Right thing possible.
Sorry.
Because in my mind, I mean, the most important thing to me right now in all of this is that, one, I'm not trying to dishonor or ruin the legacy of my mother who put me here. The reason why I'm on YouTube and why I'm here is because of the life that she's given me and the things that I have. You guys there? Hello?
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, my phone just like, suddenly won't light up. What the fuck? My phone is acting like it just died.
I can still hear you fine.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hear you. The last thing I want to do is ruin the legacy of my family, of my mom and her memory, especially because this is such a personal thing for the last 25 years of my life. You know, I'm not trying to be like, do you guys want money to help me hide this?
Okay, we've heard this clip before.
I'm just asking
in my last video.
From a humanity perspective.
This confuses
like,
me.
If I am the target of this,
even though I really feel like
I have sponsors, I have a business, I'm trying to make video games, I'm trying to get out of content creation.
Even though
so
I feel like he's not innocent, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Totally.
And I just know because
when he starts saying this stuff, it's like I almost want to be like, oh, I'm being too hard on him.
He was a racist. You know, I've been a part of like, you know,
I don't know.
Like,
it's hard. I don't want to.
One thread about the charity thing is going to upheave my entire life in a way that scares the living.
I don't want to judge too hard. It's, you know,
I don't want to go home tonight and tell everyone, hey, there is a gigantic thing coming to claim my career, and you all have to close down and find somewhere else to do. I know this is shitty me to say this. I'm not trying to ask for sympathy or anything, but this kind of stuff. I mean, I've been following your guys' stuff for years. The stuff with Billy Mitchell, Carl, the stuff with Muda, with tons of content creators over the years. Like, there's no nuance to this.
They're just letting him talk, by the way.
That Jirard guy who's been nice to a bunch of people actually isn't very nice overall. Fuck him. Let's get rid of him. And that's the thing that I'm terrified the most, because I don't have the power or opportunity for that. That's not in my control. I've got nothing in my pockets to do that. I have nothing. And so that's just where my head's at. I just want to be able to create content and do good in the world. And this is just going to it's even if I survive this somehow, even if this is like people are like, well, whatever, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna take the passion out of what I do. People aren't gonna trust me ever again. I'm not gonna trust myself ever again, and I'm just gonna walk away from all this. Like this is like me being like, great, so I'm out.
Just play games.
Not just of
keep playing games. Don't do charities.
Being an online personality. I'm just gonna stop.
I think that would help, right? I think that would be all right.
And never talk to anyone ever again. And that's the spiraling that I've been dealing with the last 3 days of talking to therapists and doctors and just figuring this whole thing out. Because I knew this was coming a couple of days ago because of the email, and I'm like, well.
Nope, I think you DC'd. Give him like a minute.
Yep.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say why he was talking to them. Ooh, they're feeling a little pressure.
My personal belief is I really do feel like this is the internal civil war. I mean, he says, what can I do to make it right? Honestly, the thing he can really do is just send that money to an actual organization in its entirety. I think $600,000 plus is enough money to make an actual
And by the way, it was
right?
not 600,000. The amount is 650,000 in the account.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he can make a difference or not. He asked people for money. That has to go somewhere. It doesn't matter what he does.
True.
That's a red herring.
Carl is not buying it. Oh my god.
But the money has to go somewhere. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But saying that I didn't want to give it here or there.
This wasn't even such a personal thing. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable, I'm sure.
Story, right? Like,
yeah.
Fuck, what's gonna?
It's just unfortunate.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you believe when he says that him and his dad are having this thing with each other? Because I find it.
Where are the receipts?
I kind of believe it in the sense that he knows that this could have blowed back on him, and he is the face of this organization. But I mean, it is family, right? Or do you think it's like he's just trying to throw his dad under the bus?
But he even in 2023, he was saying that they're working with Alzheimer's organization.
That is true. Yes, Carl.
Like doesn't appear to be that way when he's talking about it on Indie Land.
That's true.
Recently, it seems like he was just saying that they're supporting all these. If he's upset that they weren't supporting these people, why is he publicly saying that they are supporting them? Like it's just like completely the opposite.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like he was just lying because he's saying that he knew that it was just sitting there, and then publicly saying that they are supporting these places. So.
That's true.
He's admitted that he was lying and it was not ignorance.
Okay, good points.
Yeah. So I think we have more than enough, to be honest. I think that's pretty
hopefully he comes back just to put a lid on what he was saying.
A couple minutes for it, I guess. But I mean, he genuinely, like, at the end of the day, I don't know what he expected, to be honest. It's like I can't personally be guilted into not covering the story now, and I don't think anybody would be, right? Like, it's kind of like if Logan Paul sat down with you and told you, like, hey, please don't do this. I'm like, that's the story as it is, you know?
Yeah.
So
I did say something about where are the receipts with his dad. Obviously, I don't think it would be like. I doubt I wouldn't put my father and I argument on the internet like that. I'm just saying if he's going to use it in his argument, he's going to need to provide receipts. That's just how it works. He can't say something happened and then not prove it in something that's serious like this. That's all I meant.
The thing is like, if this was some fucking financial scam, it'd be a lot easier because it'd be nothing to do it. But I do feel bad because this was founded in like his mom's name. But you know,
same. That's how I'm feeling. It's like,
it's that just makes it worse.
It does. We know. I know.
It just makes their actions worse. It's not like I gotta feel bad for. I mean, I feel bad for the employees and the people that helped with Indie Land. That weren't involved with Open Hand, people who have no idea what's going on, like all the people who think they're helping. Doing something good, and
they all look so happy when they were on camera talking about it.
I don't feel bad for him because
the story for this is like, obviously if you got employees working for you and people, it's like they don't know that they were inadvertently the faces of this organization, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, and I mean, I'll make a parallel in my video. I'm like, it's kind of like crypto scams themselves, right? Like when you're the influencer in the face of an operation, it's like what happens with the actual operation, they never get hit the most. It's the people that are the faces, right? So in this case, it's like Jirard and like the people that work for him are the ones that have the egg on their face. So it's like, what do you do from here, right? Like, do you donate that money and try to alleviate the situation? Sure, but like,
but it's
this makes
no
me
matter what,
personally
it'll look bad.
question a lot of other YouTuber charities, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
Here's the thing: the IRS didn't catch this. Nobody else caught this. A whistleblower, me, had to sit down and we figured this whole thing out in like a week, right? And then to get kind
typical
of
police government work, the citizens have to solve it.
Yeah, you disconnected for a little bit. Your phone. Oh, I think he's still trying to sync up with us.
Oh, good.
I think is might be a phone thing. We'll give it a little bit. But yeah, I don't really know much more to go off. I don't think there's any question worth asking. I think this call was definitely good to have because at least for my video,
yeah, for y'all, my gosh, it's really good for you.
I know it's off the record, but I can say that there are differences behind the scenes between Jirard and a few of the directors. And that's one of the reasons why the money wasn't moved, right? Like, at least I think it's fair to provide. No,
there's no what.
Or at least
Jirard's like,
is,
you
right?
think that's the claim, but do you think that Jirard would say, "Hey, we need to donate this money," and his dad's like, "No, we're keeping it." I just don't believe that conversation would happen.
No, I mean, honestly, anything's possible with money. People change with money. It's like, yeah, it could be possible. The problem is there's no evidence. There's no evidence. If there's evidence, then nobody would keep talking about it as much. Well, they wouldn't talk about it as much. They wouldn't blame him as much. Like, he didn't show that at all. So that's why no one's believing it.
Yeah.
It could have happened, though.
Really? Someone in their family is like saying, no, I'm not giving away this money that
for sure.
raised.
It could be. Why not? People get greedy with money. Even family. Yeah. Come on. I mean, how many of y'all have had a family dispute over money or an inheritance or something like that? Yeah. I've been there. People just change completely. It's scary.
You can just say that there are claims, and then you can just like tell the audience, like, now you can just believe what you want to believe out of this. We just did all the due diligence, so we're covering our asses, right?
Should we get a like a Jirard to write something?
Ooh.
Like a written statement?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. We can.
Oh my gosh! Come on.
You could write a written statement of your side.
Jirard, why did you have this call?
Just write it in.
You really shouldn't have.
Okay, we know you're having connection issues at the moment. I think we pretty much asked all we needed to ask.
This video is 30 more minutes, so I don't know what happened.
In writing.
Oh, okay. Part 2 starts.
Thoughts. Or a statement for us, just so we can have your side.
I want to skip, but I don't want to like miss something. Maybe there's something small.
Yeah. I think he's having or he's just connecting in. But yeah. Whew. It's gonna be a video. I think it's just like, he's having those things over there. We can probably just,
Yeah, we'll just go,
call?
Yeah,
we'll step into a different call.
Okay,
I'll just say right now, there was definitely there was a lot of guilt tripping throughout that entire video.
Yes.
Or throughout that entire call.
Yes.
We absolutely
there was. I mean,
have to cover this.
He's probably just upset.
The fact that this is an actual piece of fraud. Like, this is legitimate fraud. There's no question about it.
Oh God.
The whole idea of because we have clips of him talking about charities, right? That's not. Hello?
So.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I really wonder if Jirard actually said, "Yeah, it's cool to put this call online," because I remember Mudahar was like, "I'll post the call if Carl and Jirard are okay with it." I wonder if Jirard was really agreed to this.
To answer your question, Carl, I don't have an answer. You know, I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there.
Okay. It's possible that I don't know this. It's possible he's done it, but I haven't seen it. Where's the proof? I've donated money over the years. Where is the proof? Every claim you're making has to be proven. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Because people can just say anything. That's why, like, he's making so many claims, just like he did the whole time doing his charity events. He made so many claims, and there was no proof. Where is your proof? Even if it's $10, I want to see that you donated $10 if you're going to use that as a claim, you know?
Support them as we were talking negotiations about working.
I'm learning a lot from this too.
I don't really have
be very
a
careful
true answer for that. And that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. Completely. Question, Carl.
Oops, little bit.
I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that, and
I guess
that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But you know, again, it doesn't fucking matter. You guys are gonna say what you're gonna say, and I can't stop it. But the important thing is that all the money is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. Like it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that. And that's the thing about 501(c)s is that, like, if I did any of that, the minute I did any malpractice of that nature,
yeah, sure,
literally the government would be like, hey, we're coming after you. And
maybe,
you know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality. And
he's talking about legal again. Yeah, he is talking about legal. Of course we are talking about charity fraud, but also at the very end of it all, people just want their money to go to the place it was supposed to go. That's it. And yeah, the law comes along with that. But I think the number one priority was like, we need this money in the charity. That's it.
You know, me advertising this event.
Okay, he knows this.
And showing people sponsors and all that stuff.
Naming them directly.
And
you know, and most of them didn't get any donation, by the way. Only one got the donation.
But you know, I'm at your guys' mercy as to what to do. Well, what would you rather have me do in the public space right now to do right by you guys? Because that's all I want to do is do the right thing, and I'm gonna have ramifications no matter what way I turn it. I just want to be able to handle this appropriately.
I'm laughing because in his video he threatened to sue them. So
for me, it was just be like, so again, just to
he wants to do right by them.
So far, you guys have been running the Open Hand Foundation. It is your guys' 501(c). You ran Indieland. You moved money from your Indieland yearly into this account, and you believe that for a while the money was being donated. And
Dude,
there was
to clarify, I did not take any. Me and my team did not touch any of the money personally through Indieland. It was all connected through the appropriate Tiltify and all the 501(c) orgs that are on Tiltify. So it's not like I was moving money to wash things by any means. Just to clarify that.
But it ended up where? In the bank account. How do we know? Again, he's making a claim. He's claiming that not one bit of it went through him. Well, it's his Twitch channel, isn't it? He has his name on the Twitch channel, probably. Moving money to wash things by any means. Can you show documents with each itemized piece of income, like Tiltify, maybe PayPal, bits and donations? I'm just... subscriptions that continued every month, taking account of every month subscription that continued. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of things he could have done that would have been probably overkill, But it's like, for this situation, it would have solved everything. Well, it would have solved the claiming things but having no proof. I don't know. Am I taking it too far? Am I giving too many of my opinions that aren't right? I really feel like this is right. He keeps saying he didn't touch it. I'm just like trying to figure this guy out.
We are officially through Tiltify and through the above board right means I did not move anything, any money for that. Just because the way you said that made it seem like I was moving money into accounts, and I that's not what I did.
Is your name on the account?
But
my clarification.
Is your name on that bank account?
Wait, on that topic, I mean, yeah. So, but Openhand was paying expenses on behalf of Indieland, correct?
God,
Sorry,
don't answer that.
So Indieland is a separate thing from Openhand.
It's a scary question.
Correct.
Were you saying that Openhand was paying expenses for
Reimbursing?
Indieland, though?
Dude.
Only some
Careful.
years and no more than a couple $1,000s depending on the year. If it
Jirard, why did you answer that question like that? Why did you answer it? It just sounds so sketchy when you say that Open Hand Charity reimbursed your company. It just sounds bad. I know there are administrative costs and things. I get that. Oh. It's just given the context of everything we know so far, just saying that is really, I don't think that's a good thing to say.
It was too much money just to make it right because you're not supposed to really do that especially when you have no operating expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Go back. I want to hear that one more time. I'm sorry, I keep pausing.
Only some years and no more than a couple $1,000s depending on the year. If it was too much money just to make it right because
what is too much money?
Do that especially when
Who
you have
decided?
no operating expenses. I'd only reimburse myself and I did it appropriately through the open hand when applicable, but not every year and no more
operating
than,
expenses
than a couple $1,000s maximum.
Yeah.
Guys, am I losing it?
No more than a couple $1,000s depending on the year. If it was too much money just to make it right because you're not supposed to really do that especially when you have no operating expenses. I
thought he said there were a lot of expenses with the event, like catering and hotel rooms and flights and stuff like that. He mentioned that. I remember that. If I'm getting anything mixed up, let me know in the comments. Please do. Okay? I don't want to just like blabber on about something I'm wrong about, so let me know. He said no operating expenses. He even said you're not really supposed to do that. Dude, why did you answer this question?
I'd only reimburse myself and I did it appropriately through the open hand when applicable, but not every year and no more.
But you said you didn't touch a drop of it.
$1,000 maximum.
A few seconds ago.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a safe haven of like moving money and spending money on purpose.
Okay, where's the documentation on that?
Okay.
But Openhand, Openhand and Indieland they have to be the kind of the same entity in a way. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an expense of Openhand to pay for Indieland if they weren't, kind of one and the same. If that makes sense.
Sorry, could you ask the question?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so Openhand and Indieland are connected because
Openhand
because Openhand is paying for Indieland. Otherwise, Indieland, if it was a separate entity, Indieland would be paying for itself, not Openhand.
Oh, okay, I get it. Because he's using Indieland to gain the charity money too. And it's like, yeah, they're related.
Correct, but not every year. Not every year does Indieland get paid for by Openhand. It comes from
okay. Which yours did? Where's your documents?
Indieland is not its own organization. The company that I founded for the Completionist is the company that puts on Indieland and all of our charity events. And Typically speaking, we don't reimburse ourselves unless it's paramount to how much money we spent. But
he said a couple $1,000s. I'm just feeling uncomfortable with the wording. He said only a couple $1,000s. Why even? What? Clearly, I mean, I'm sorry, but I think he must have the money. It's a couple $1,000s, and he has 20 employees, he claimed, that he, pays for. So you're saying you reimbursed your company a couple $1,000s? That's kind of weird. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's never been more than a couple grand, and it's
right.
Not
Why do you need a
it's
couple grand back? Why are you reimbursing yourself at all? That's weird.
To really come down to it, the reason
if it were like 50 or 100,000, then at least the amount would make sense. He's saying a couple thousand. Why did you need a reimbursement for that? I'm losing it. Sorry.
Or at least the companies or organizations' reasoning for the money being in the account that wasn't really distributed to these charities year after year is because of the fact that some of these organizations told you that if you donated too insignificant of an amount instead of a large amount, it would not do as much good.
Yes.
Correct. That was what was conveyed to me multiple times from multiple organizations.
Which organizations?
Okay. Yeah, and again, this is just me bringing it up from.
He wants to name names until this.
Like the Alzheimer's Foundation, right?
Yeah.
So
Alzheimer's, it's an association of Alzheimer's, I believe, is what it's called.
Association of Alzheimer's. So again, with these organizations, it's it almost the way that you make it sound, it's almost like if I went to their websites and donated $20, they would kind of tell me, hey, donate more because it's just going to go to administrative fees, right? That's it makes it hard to kind of believe that point. You know what I mean? And for us, it's when you say that you've been in talks with these organizations, what do you mean in talks? Is it a long-term partnership? Could
I want to know.
Have written them a check right there and then for this specific year, and then year after year, the money comes in and out?
Yeah, the idea was we wanted to donate the money to an organization so that they could send a representative or someone from their organization to come forward and talk about all the good that we've done working with them and making them the new benefactor that we've been looking for, or multiple benefactors, depending on the amount of money that was donated.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as of now, the money, as far as your understanding, that $660,000 roughly, is still sitting in your that charity account, waiting for a benefactor at the right time.
I mean, as of this week, we've been
that's not accounting for this year.
About moving it as early as today or tomorrow, just because.
What's going to happen next year?
You guys, if I'm being quite honest.
We've heard this before.
Not that I was trying to save face, but this is a private fight that I've been dealing with for months with my family, and I even told my family, hey,
blur the names out, give the receipts,
because this is the 10th year anniversary of my mom's passing. And when I kind of found this information out, I was very unhappy with what things were going, and the ramifications of this are going to be massive for everything I've ever done in the space. And
well, have you read the response that Jacques gave?
Which one?
Well,
I haven't heard this.
Have you read any of them?
I read the first one, but I have not been around today to see the second one.
Because he said that what Open Hand was doing was ethical, and they haven't done anything wrong, etc. So it's kind of definitely conflicting opinions on whether or not what was going on was,
I mean, Jirard's saying there's something wrong. That's kind of weird. Somebody's coming to defend.
Well, I think the ethicalness of it is talking about the government laws and how the organization on paper is. We've never, again, no one has ever gotten paid any kind of personal expense or salary, or there's no tax front. There's no one doing anything erroneous.
Dude, I don't agree. Someone who's not gonna think hard about it, sure, it's well, okay, they just kept it, and but it's still documented and things. No, that's not it. He claimed every year he was working actively and was a main contributor from one of the charities. That's a false statement. That's a lie. That's not legal, I believe. You can't just make false claims like that in order to get more money from people. Also, you get lots of benefits from PR and being an angel type person. You know, that really, I don't know if that monetary benefit could be measured, but it's not zero.
We're not shifting money and hiding it from people. It's all, every dollar's been accounted for and it's there.
Where?
And,
yeah,
Where
well,
has it been accounted for?
No one insinuated that. Like, personally, I didn't insinuate
No,
that.
Carl, where's the money been accounted for? Where? He made his response video. He didn't show that. He didn't show every single expense that they've had matches their tax document. I don't even know if they sent in an itemized expense sheet to the IRS when they filed their taxes. I mean, I guess it looks like they didn't. I don't know. I keep saying I don't know because it's like, once I say a thing, I'm like, ah, gosh, this is harsh. It's a little harsh. I feel like I'm being, I don't know, too hard on this person. But I just keep hearing things that I don't like. Like, I keep hearing sentences that conflict with what actually happened.
That
he didn't show
we were
any
just asking
proof
why
of
the money
that.
wasn't donated.
Like
It wasn't.
Yeah, because if that was a reality, the public filings would have just showcased that you guys would have worked more than 0 hours and you would have charged money to yourselves. So that's nobody
Absolutely.
should logically be making that specific claim. It's just the idea of ethicality when year after
Right.
year you can run events and you know you get the article that say we raised $80,000 for dementia research, and the audience is led to believe that that money is going somewhere when in reality
Which is
it's just sitting in an account.
illegal.
As of today, right now, in
As
this
far as I
call,
know.
no one has been the beneficiary, at least in some quantitative capacity. And
Yeah.
that's really where the idea of charity fraud comes into, because what we received in the second response privately, if that was public knowledge, like when people were donating at the time, this wouldn't even be an issue, right? Like we wouldn't talk about this, we wouldn't have this discussion.
Yeah.
But now that it's, you know, you can look through public filings and, you know, you can see the story by yourself, it becomes a different situation.
Unless you can provide proof
yeah. Well, what
that you accidentally left out, which is possible.
I'm not trying to hide this, but what would you guys like me to do? Because
Show your document.
I want to do right by everyone involved on my
That's it.
side, and I want to absolve myself of this as best I can, and I know I can't. And
You
know,
could if you.
guys are some of
Anyways.
the biggest creators in the space.
My point is, I don't
You
think he
guys
has
will-
evidence.
Whatever you guys will say,
I think he's
this
just
is gonna
blabbering.
follow me for the rest of my life, and I just want to be able to do right by you guys and by my community and by my family at this point. And I just want, you know, like I literally am about to like donate all this money today, and prior to that, earlier this week, and the week before, and I've just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated the money the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it, and he's guilt by doing that.
Because it is. It's too late.
That way, but I understand.
It is too late. No matter what, it's too late.
Easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And, you know, I just want to, you know, I want to do right by you guys and what you think. When you guys got the email and I said, please tell us about benefactors, that was genuine, because I haven't found a benefactor that I'm completely happy with, and I want to make sure that this money goes to a good cause in honor of my mom. And I'm upset that the conversations I've had haven't gone the way that I wanted. And I'm willing at this point to just donate the money to whoever. I want it to go in the right spot. I don't want it to go to some doctor's salary or.
You mean the person who's actively working, physically trying to find the solution for this disease? Really? Why would you say doctor's salary? They're the ones that they're the main ones that are going to be doing this. I mean, they have to get paid. If this bothered you so much, you should have started your own research center. You know, what else can you do? But this is all debunked anyways, because right on that website, it had different options of where you want that money to go.
Or some expense bill
So
for
it's
a massive
all
organization that it's not going to do anything
pointless.
for. So I guess what I'm asking you guys is, what do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Jirard, we want you to shut up and take the L so we can make content, that's fine.
All
if
your
that's
proof
what you
of your
guys think is
claims.
the way to go to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my mom. Like, this is, I would not be outward.
Please don't mention her. It makes me feel sad.
The coals for this, when I know and say every year we're a 501c3 organization where everything is public. You know what I mean? Like, it's contradictory for me to be like, it's going to a good cause, but also I'm tax evading or embezzling or whatever it may be.
He knows everything's public. I don't know. God, I need to stop saying I don't know. He knows everything is public for a 501c3. Is every single thing public? I just want to know, where's your expense list? Where's your revenue list? That's all. That's the key here. And that's how he could prove at least something. Oh, I'm sorry.
Someone's suggesting that.
No, there's no tax evasion. Nobody's, again, like looking through the 501c like P filings. No one could say in a million years that what you were doing is indicative. Hold on, let me just actually delete something off of the system here. According to the tax filing, according to the filings, nobody could say that you were moving money. Like I said, nobody was being charged or billed hours. So you're kind of like, in my opinion, that's not even a point to be talking about. Just doesn't really apply in this situation. The only thing, and I feel like that you should do that could make the situation better, is that $660,000 that's currently sitting.
And 60,000.
Instead of being earmarked, like we were told by a member of the organization today, should actually be going to a beneficiary, because at the end of the day, $660,000 is going to make a difference, right? And it should have made a difference in the last several years as this foundation was operating and receiving these grants. And that's really what you can do. It's like, there's no shame in realizing that things got fucking wild behind the scenes, but the only way to make it right is not to let the money sit there anymore and to actually, I guess, let it do work.
And where are your documents showing that people were telling you, not people?
Angle, because it is in a way a deceptive angle for the last several
that
years.
You should have higher amount, right? To avoid administration.
Right. It was going to have to come out at some point when somebody was going to look into the filings, right? It could have been us. It could have been, Coffee. It could have been anybody.
Coffeezilla.
How the situation is unfolded.
Yep, he would. Oh, yeah.
Well, what about you, Carl? What are your thoughts?
I don't know, because it's a tough situation.
Carl's a tough one.
I honestly
might not have wanted to ask.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, the question. There's two questions here. One is more important. The more important question is what morally should be done, which is just the money donated.
Yep.
And then, because I mean, that's what you've been saying. That's what you've been saying. That's what this is all about, ultimately, you said you were going to do something that hasn't been done, so it must be done. And then, as far as how to come out of this in the best way possible publicly, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just a good answer,
that's gonna have to be like between you and the community, but I think
and your charity and your family members that are involved.
I don't like. You're not, and I'm gonna say like it is, like you're not like the people that I usually look into the space, like Logan Paul. So I am coming at this from an incredibly sympathetic angle. I'm not doing this to rake anything over the coals. It's just a matter of the fact, like, this is one of those situations.
They've been pretty nice.
I was very flabbergasted. And I think looking into this situation, what really fucks with me personally the most is now I'm going to question a lot of other YouTuber charities or a lot of other YouTuber events, because when I'm like,
but you should anyways, I'm sorry.
The organization, the Open Hand Foundation, really anyone that says, hey, we're a 501c charity, we have to follow US federal law, everything, that's great. But what we just witnessed here is, you know, a charity operating, making these claims.
And it's not legal. It's not.
When in reality, the money's just kind of sitting there. It's going to make me question.
That's not legal.
Almost every YouTuber charity that I've ever donated to or worked with. And I think that's the thing that fucks with me the most, more than just this story, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how awkward.
But yeah, I guess that's really
how are you
all
on this
that
call?
Can be said. You know, at least that's all I have to say. Carl, if you want to say anything else.
No, I definitely feel for you though. You know, I'm
for sure. I mean, this is a big civil thing.
Yeah, it's obviously not a good situation, but
I take it that you guys are dead set on making pieces about this.
Uh-oh.
I mean, yeah,
it's a big question.
I'm definitely covering this. I know Carl is, and if Carl is, I am as well too. It's kind of a two for. We both been working on this, so it's really just contingent on one or the other.
Oh my god. This is he just realized.
All right. Well.
Wow. He's just.
I guess
it's all hitting him.
I guess that's all she wrote.
He's so upset. Of course. I mean, yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate your guys' patience and understanding.
I'm uncomfortable.
You know.
Wow.
Not much I can really do here. So.
No, well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
I appreciate you talking.
Appreciate you coming.
You shouldn't have come on.
I know that obviously you've been in talks with lawyers and everything, and again, as far as
already?
off the record stuff is, I'm going to obviously keep, you know, any mention of you and, you know, your disagreements with your dad really out of it, because I know that's a very private, personal matter.
Sure.
And that's not even germane to the entire video. Period. We just obviously we're going to look into it. I think
it should only come from Jirard, basically.
I think the best thing that can happen now is like obviously make
if he chooses,
and that's really what it comes down to. You know, if you've been having these arguments behind the scenes, maybe the best way is to say, listen, this wasn't the most ethical way to really handle this situation, and you should have been upfront about it years ago. But the money hasn't disappeared. I'm
confused because, okay, they're having arguments about donating. Does he not have the power to donate it himself? Even though he's on, I mean, maybe he's just not on the bank account. Maybe that's it. Like, he could just donate it himself if it's really that dire and if it's according to the law. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. Sometimes I don't explain myself that well. But like, why is it just up to his dad? I don't understand that part.
Right? And this is in my
what about the others?
If the money hasn't gone to like Lamborghinis or a mansion or some stupid shit, then it can still go to the right places and do the right thing, and that's all that matters, right? That's all anybody wants to see. If this was a situation where $660,000 went to like a fucking like epic video game collection, then I would fucking be incredibly pissed, and like I would be so fucking scathing that it would be absolutely out of character for me. But if the money is there in the accounts, then it should just be donated to the right charities.
Which he did do.
Finding a beneficiary as early as even like next week is probably what you and that team should be doing.
Okay, so he actually just listened to them.
The Open Hand Foundation has to shut down. I think going year after year, if you're going to go down this road, then writing a check to these companies, whether or not that money is a big enough amount, because like looking at these filings, you're making tens of thousands up to like six figures. That's enough to make differences.
Yeah, and people donate $10-20 to charities. What about them? You're saying that's not good enough? Like, come on. I don't understand this argument. I mean, I do, but it's like, what choice do you have? What choice? Unless you start your own organization, you can't. Okay, no, he doesn't need to start his own research facility. Don't do that. But I'm just saying, unless he does that, how else is he gonna be able to completely just know 100% what it's going to?
And if you're going to tell people that you're donating to these charities, then you should just make that happen year after year. That's all that I think.
Yeah.
And I think you do have a way out of it, right? Like, again, the money wasn't misappropriated. That is the best silver lining here. right?
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I think it has to go to where you said it was going to go, ultimately. I think it'd be worse if you didn't give it to the organizations that you've already named, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you think that
Yeah,
they aren't the
but-
best, unfortunately, you said it was going to go there. If you don't send it there, you've just been lying. So it just has to go to where you said it was going to go. That's where people believed it was going when they donated.
Yeah, you name specific charities
Sure.
over and over and over.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just listen. Like the money's there. You just give it to the people that you said that your organization was giving it to, and that's the end of that. That's like, I think that is like, and Carl, feel free to disagree with me. I think that absolutely puts you in a very good position in front of the rest of the world. It's not like you're fucking Logan Paul where you took $1 million of crypto zoo and you're not giving it back. That money hasn't even
that's true.
disappeared.
That's
it's still
true.
there. The right thing can be done. So it's just a matter
That's
of
true. Just don't do charity work at all anymore. That's what I think.
And the mismanagement of that organization, and just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Putting the foot down, and that's it. Because you're the face of this organization, and I definitely think if you push hard, no matter what issues are in this organization or what you've talked to with these companies, you can still donate that amount of money. And I don't think all will be right. People will be helped.
No.
You'll be furthering a very noble cause.
People will be helped.
Especially in your mother's memory.
It's
And I
still
think
not
that's
right.
The most important thing.
And I would
And
I was just going to say,
Carl.
I mean, obviously, I don't like playing dumb.
Carl!
I don't particularly like the comments that Jacques made saying that obviously you know something's wrong. And obviously Openhand knows something's wrong because, as you've said, you've been in meetings.
Jirard said something was wrong, so
lawyers, etc.
This
So obviously,
outside
there's a
person
problem.
saying nothing?
But then
wrong?
Jacques is trying to tell me that no, everything's ethical, everything's legal. We've done nothing wrong, etc., etc. When obviously that's no one could really,
Oh,
no
that's his
reasonable
brother.
person would
It's his
think
brother,
that's
sorry.
the case. So just maybe consider.
Discussing
you probably
this.
are anyway, but just I don't know. Just say if you're going to make another comment, make it more honest.
And all of you be on the same page.
Sure.
At least from the
I mean,
organization.
Yeah, from Openhand, from Openhand,
No,
like
not
official.
you. You've been great. Like this is a great conversation with you. A lot like these conversations, I'll be honest, are so tough to have with anybody just because again, that's I'm not here to make allegations that I think are unfounded. So I'm not blaming you for fucking tax defrauding or
I'm so
embezzlement or,
uncomfortable.
laundering cash. Because if I wanted to prove that, I could have already proven it and confronted you. We're just looking at a situation of legitimate, one could construe this as a charity fraud situation, right? Money was supposed to go, didn't go somewhere. But best case scenario, things can be redone and, things can be amended.
Jirard in his video said that they accused him of embezzlement and tax fraud. No, actually, they were saying, we're not actually saying that. That's just a small point I'm remembering him saying in his video when he was super angry at them.
So that's really all it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The public wants honesty. I think the public's pretty smart. So if Openhand, if I just gave them these comments from Openhand, the public is not going to like that at all because it's just not reasonable. So,
Yep.
definitely, going
I'm the
forward,
public.
Openhand or whoever talks publicly should be just completely straight up with how they feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, honestly,
I
that's
mean-
all I can really say. Go ahead.
And if anything else is proven, give them proof. Put proof.
do you
I know it
guys
sucks,
think the
but
comments we made to you made you to believe that we were hiding the money?
No, to me, it was just the money was there in the account, but there was just no beneficiary. So when we watched the Indie Land, streams back to back, right? All of them. And we hear that the money is going to Foundation A, B, and C. And then, Jacques is telling us, no, we're still looking for people. That's
right.
a fraudulent statement. That's the issue we have.
Mm.
And most people really,
Right, that is true because he named names. Yep. I don't know how y'all have.
Yeah.
just to be clear too, Indieland is the only thing that I'm a part of. Any other fundraiser, whether it be private or public within the open hand, I have nothing to do with. Just to be clear, because like Indieland didn't really start making any large amounts until like 2 or 3 years ago in the way of making an impact. So like when you see
it doesn't matter.
That's not just from Indieland. That's from other stuff. So like I have nothing to do with any of that.
Okay.
I have the amount of what Indieland has raised, and that's the amount that I'm going to dictate to donate. It's very close to the total amount, but I just want to be clear with you guys.
Who cares?
I'm trying to do the right thing here and not get in trouble any more than I'm going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Still.
Look,
all right,
before
guys,
we end this, I don't think there's a lot of trouble personally. I think if you got the money there, it can be appropriated the right way. Because honestly, the audience they want to see a good ending to everything. If you were buying Lamborghinis or mansions, like I said, whole different story.
Oh, sure.
But I think if this money can be appropriated right, this can obviously end in a very good way with people being helped. That's it. But yeah.
Well, that's the only way to move forward, anyways. I mean, there's no other way to go about it. It's just something that has to be done, and whatever the outcome is. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jirard.
Ooh, he sounds so down.
Before I let you guys go, I just want to reiterate, if you could just keep the family stuff to a minimum of like,
yeah,
this topic, the dementia stuff, it's not that easy. It's never been easy, and it's very personal, and that's why this whole thing has been so difficult.
I'm keeping it to the charity and like the money and why it hasn't moved. I won't personally be mentioning anybody family related and the personal hell that you honestly have to go through. That's like a fucking no for me personally. So yeah, on my end, and I'm sure on Carl's end, that's something that obviously I think we can abide by. Of course, that's just an ethics thing for any journalist, really.
I feel like aside from the Billy Mitchell stuff, I'm usually not too, I generally keep it pretty factual, or I don't. I'm not like a drama. I do talk about drama, but I'm like a Keemstar or something. Like I don't go too hard. I just sort of keep it pretty factual, and I don't really provide much commentary or anything on top of that. So I won't do anything that you'll find completely disrespectful.
Yeah. But we are going to just obviously talk about the story as it is, and
this is so. I would be like shaking on the floor if I'm speaking to these two about this. This is so uncomfortable.
Be able not to get ahead.
Can you imagine?
To like, how much time do
I would never do this, but it's like
force the organization to donate the money and to. Because like this isn't just a matter of like donate the money and be done. Like
no, it's not
I'm
actually
gonna resign myself of Indieland and dissolve the event and walk away.
I don't think that's what you should do.
This is just gonna. I know the internet's gonna run with this and beat me to the pulp, and I don't want to have anything tying this back to me ever again, and just move on. If I do. Indieland, when this year, we were talking about Indieland not even being a charity event, but just being a networking event / game jam for developers.
That's what I was going to say.
The amount of good that the space does.
Just do that.
We're half a charity event and half of an indie game incubator for other people, right? Like we help developers find publishers and you
should have just stuck with that.
Sometimes I publicly invest in a game if I think it's really great.
That's a cool idea.
And there's a lot of great memories and great moments and great things founded out of the positivity of what Indieland's supposed to be. And I want to keep Indieland going in the sense of that. But after this, I just don't think I can do that anymore. And if I do, there's going to be zero charity aspect to it. It'll just be for indie developers specifically.
I think that's fair. Really, just keep playing games. Focus on the games.
I worry about tomorrow. Do I have a couple of days? Like, what's the vibe?
Oh my god.
Releasing.
I had a plan, but
I wasn't. Same day that you told me, or?
we'll talk about it. I don't know, and I don't want to think about it right now. Because honestly, Jirard, I wasn't even going to talk to you. So I sort of had a plan, but now that I've spoken to you, you've told me more of your side. So I got to have a think about. I got to change some stuff. I got to incorporate that and think about what I want to
do. Sure.
But yeah, I am.
It's so awkward, guys. Just say goodbye.
We'll get back, and if we need any other comment or something, then yeah, we'll talk. In my opinion, pretty unethical. But again, the very big silver lining is the money is there, according to every PP filing.
They're trying so hard to get him to donate it. Just good.
Done right,
That's what matters.
This is a situation of actual embezzlement, or money being moved to the fucking Cayman Islands or some cryptocurrency offshore. This is a situation that can be rectified for very positive sakes. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, it's about over.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jirard.
Well, that was it, y'all. Actually, I've done a few videos on this, and I'm like, okay, what new am I gonna learn? I've already learned all of it, but every time I see a new piece, or a new video, I learned something new. So yeah, I'm glad I watched it. I don't think that Jirard should have taken this call. I really don't. You don't talk to the journalists about mistakes for your charity. You know what I'm saying? It's just a shame. I'm glad the money got donated, like I always say. It doesn't solve the problem. It really doesn't. But I do think it's a good idea, if he continues to do Indie Land, to just focus on the developers. Don't make it about charity. That's a great idea. Actually, it should have been like that. Anyways, I'll leave this video in the description if you want to go watch it without me blabbering behind it. If anything new pops up, I doubt it. I keep saying that, but I really don't think anything else will come up. But if it does, we'll discuss it then, and I'll see y'all in the next one.